The following is a paid advertisement. The views expressed are the sole responsibility of the advertiser.
I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just ahead on You Have Real Estate, you need a new roof. I will tell you how. You need new windows. You need new doors. I will tell you how. Shane Croft shows us a mansion, some great properties in Southwest Volusia County. It's all just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate.
Managing your investment property is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Sign up at GoRent123.com. 2. Let Greater Orlando Realty handle all of the management of your property. 3. Sit back and count your money. Visit GoRent123.com today.
Welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, with my attorney advice throughout the way. If you have any questions whatsoever during the show, the phone number will be right here on the screen. Here is the number, 407-205-0400. If you want to start that house hunt this weekend for your dream home, Dallas Lehman is standing by to get you pre-approved. Same phone number. I'm so excited about today's show, by the way. It's going to be awesome. Great people here. It's going to be, honestly, one of my favorite shows ever. I can already tell. But first, the opening statement. So you own a house and it needs a little bit of work. Where do you start? You want to increase the value of your home. You don't want to spend $80,000 on a full kitchen. You can't sell your house if your roof has issues. You can't, because the person buying it, generally speaking, will try to get a mortgage, and the mortgage company will not lend to them if the roof is a mess. Also, windows and doors. How important are those? Visually, aesthetically, yes, but also think about energy efficiency. What we're dealing with right now is these energy bills. The electricity bills are skyrocketing, and you don't know why. Believe it or not, you replace those windows, replace those doors, your electricity bill is going to go down super, super fast. Also, some great houses to show you what is on the market right now and how is this real estate market handling sort of a weird time that we're living in. We're going to answer those questions, and we're going to do so by answering and asking real questions. Every Saturday here on the program, we ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. And so many questions to ask today, but let's start with our great friends over at Universal Roof and Contracting. How are you guys? Good to see you.
Doing great. How you doing? Thanks for having us.
Corey, we have a long story about your name with me and you. We did another show the other day, and I called you. What did I call you?
Nick.
Yeah, because I guess you look like a Nick. Cory Callahan is here, and obviously great name, Justin is here. Hey,
Perfect.
Justin, how are you, buddy?
Great, man. Thanks.
Great to have you guys again. And let's get right to it about roofing. Roofs are one of the most expensive things that can happen in someone's household. And when you talk about your home, that's your biggest investment ever. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the big question is always, is my insurance going to cover it? Or am I going to have to stroke a check for 25 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand? Right. And that is a very important question for families. A lot of families don't have 20 grand, 30 grand sitting around to just stroke that check. And I really think that question oftentimes is answered with that inspection at the beginning. There are a lot of roofing companies out there, a lot of storm chasers out there who will just like take a Google image and say, oh yes, you need a new roof. That's not an inspection.
It's not.
How important is that initial inspection?
It's everything. It's everything. That's going to determine which way that roofing project is going to lean. If it's going to be that stroking a check or financing options, or if it's going to be navigated through your insurance. So the best thing to do is to have trained and certified eyes on that to actually see that damage, uncover it, and then take photos of it, document it, write up reports about it, tie it to specific storm dates if necessary, and just really provide everything needed to the homeowner so that they can make an informed decision on how they want to proceed. And that all starts with a free evaluation, and then we're going to show you the damage. It's not an opinion. It's going to be backed up with photos with us, and we're going to show you everything that we see. Right.
And Corey, it seems like an easy question, but maybe it's not. When do I call? How do I know it's time to call you?
Sure. Yeah. We run into all sorts of, obviously, leaks. If you're seeing brown spots on your ceiling, if you're seeing granules gather in your driveway or in your gutters. One of the super obvious things is if there's a shingle laying in the yard after a storm, those kind of things. That's all reasons. The other is it's really good to get your roof inspected more often than people actually do. A roof has a pretty long lifespan to it, but because of what it endures in the state of Florida particularly, it's a good idea just to lay eyes on it, and it's not necessarily safe to always get up on your roof, so get the trained professionals to come out and take a look at it.
And so I call you, how does that process work, and do I have to stroke you a check for $500, $1,000 to come out and do the inspection?
No, not at all. Yeah, you just call the office. You can go to universalroof.com. Connect with the office. The call center there was going to ask you a series of questions. They'll book a scheduled appointment for you that works with your time frame. And then one of our estimators, it could be Justin or I or one of the other estimators, come out and we do the free inspection. So everything is absolutely complimentary. There's no cost for it. There's plenty of times that we go out and the homeowner doesn't really need a new roof yet, but they can at least sleep at night knowing that the roof is in good shape.
And it's weird too, because we did the Best of Central Florida show together last week, and we were like, oh, there's been no hurricanes at all. This has been a crazy year. And now, of course, you look at your local meteorologist and they're like, oh, we have this hurricane, this hurricane. So I still think there's time for hurricane season to roll through here. And I imagine there are things that I can do to get prepped for that.
Yeah, I mean, your standard hurricane preparedness, getting water, getting supplies, having cans of gas, make sure your generator is in working condition since you haven't ran it in probably a couple years. Those are all just your standard family practices. You want to make sure those things are buttoned up so that you can withstand the hurricane, even if your roof is installed brand new.
Yeah.
But as far as the roof goes, I mean, definitely being proactive is 100% the key word here. That's the practice you want to use. That'll get you ahead of any potential problems. And we have the capabilities at Universal Roof and Contracting to address those in pretty quick response time. So we can get you buttoned up before that storm comes.
Yeah, some of the things that scare people when it comes to getting a roof done is that they don't necessarily trust the people that are going to be around their house for 2 or 3 days. And you guys are different. You've been around for a long time. If Universal is there, you're going to have a truck with a name on it. But we have these storm chasers that have really given roofing a bad name.
Yep.
Yeah.
They really have, especially in this state, because you have a hurricane roll through. We got dudes from Alaska rolling down here, knocking on your door, saying, hey, we're going to do your roof, and then you give them 10 grand, 20 grand. They don't show up again. Universal is a name that can be trusted. What is that experience like when you actually get out there to my house? How does that work?
It's really all about trust. It's about us being trained properly and what we do. I said this on the Best of last week. You want to protect your home. You want to make sure the people that are working on it have been in business, that they can be accountable to the work that they're doing. The one thing that we take a ton of pride in is we spend time together each week as a team, and we train and we go through what's happening out there. So when we get on a roof, when we come on your property, we know how to develop a scope of work that's going to work for you. We're not going to put any fluff into it. A lot of times people tell you there's damage when there's actually not damage. Like Justin said earlier, we're going to back that up with photos. And like I said, a lot of times, people's roofs just need a little bit of attention and they've got more life left in it. Other times they're in dire straits and they better get something done right away.
And I've been doing this show for a long time and around the real estate world for a while, so I've been around a lot of roofing companies. And to be honest with you, here's how it normally goes. You call the roofing company, they take an aerial photo of your roof, they send you a quote, and you sign it, DocuSign, and that's it. Universal has a completely different strategy. You're coming to my dinner table.
Yes. Yeah. Dinner table, kitchen table, back patio, wherever you're comfortable sitting these days is where we're happy to meet you and just go over everything. A lot of times we spend half an hour to an hour with homeowners before we even put feet on the roof. And in that time, we're just gathering the information that you want to tell us. We need to know what your needs are, what your wants are, what you want to see on the roof ultimately. You talked about energy efficiency. There's different values for different homeowners, and we want to make sure we pinpoint what those are so like Corey said, we can build your scope and your customized roof system to those needs and those wants. Right. We're not a cookie cutter roofing company. Here's the roof we got. That's the one you're going to get. We're going to build that roof to your specs, your needs, so that your family and your home and everything's well protected.
Talk to me about repair versus replace, because I know that you will repair if that's the way to go. What are the differences in the two? How do I know repair versus replace?
Yeah, great question. We run into this every day. Sure. A lot of it has to do with the actual repairability of the roof. If you've got a roof that's been on for 17, 18, 20 years, and you're starting to develop a leak, or there's some shingles that have been damaged, a lot of times we can't. The wrong move would be to repair it, because you're spending money twice.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we go in and we kind of paint the picture of, hey, the wrong move is to repair this. We need to put a new roof on this. Obviously, we come into contact with workmanship from other contractors that maybe need some attention, those kind of things on a newer roof, and absolutely we can put together a scope of work for a good solid repair to make sure it's done right. Yeah. So it really just depends on the age of your roof and the design of your roof and what kind of shingles you have on there, sometimes tile, sometimes metal. But the biggest thing is affordability. We don't want you to see you spend money twice, on the roof.
It only makes sense. I think the analogy is I had a washing machine at my house. It wasn't working, and the guy came out. He's like, it's only 2 years old, but the whole thing is basically broken. I'll charge you $500 to fix it, or you get a new one for $600.
Pretty much.
I think that's kind of the debate is why spend several thousand to repair it when you're just going to have to replace it soon. But that's what makes you guys different. And I know it, I can feel it, it makes you different because you're going to be honest about that decision, and you're also not going to overpromise. When you're at my dinner table, you're gonna tell me, this is how long it's going to take. Sure. We're probably not gonna be here tomorrow. It might be a couple weeks before we can come out. This is what it's gonna cost, and we're not gonna then jack up the price. I see it every day. These roofing companies will come out and say it's going to be $12,000. By the time they're done, they're going to say it's $28,000 and put a lien on your house. Yeah. Overpromising is a problem, not with you.
No, not at all. Not at all. We've been taught. I mean, our founder 30 years ago, Ken Mellick, he built this business with family values, and that's how we approach every homeowner and every customer, with those family values. And we're there to do the right thing. So we set those expectations very clearly. We are going to be tearing off your roof and putting a new one on. It's going to be an interruption of life. But we're going to make sure you know exactly what the layout of that is and how that's going to affect you, and we're going to deliver on all of that.
Yes. Justin, great to see you again, buddy.
Absolutely, you too.
Cory, again, I apologize about last week, but I promised you last week I would provide brunch for you as well, and I've done so, have I not?
You
the
have.
show before this. Universal Roofing Contracting. I love you guys. Keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot.
I feel so comfortable telling the people of Central Florida that I trust you, and there's really nowhere else I would go when it comes to the roofing industry. Here's what we'll do. Quick break. When we return, a couple of houses to show you that are going to blow you away, but also windows and doors. Also super important when it comes to the value of your home, the energy efficiency of your home. It's all just ahead. You Have Real Estate continues.
You can be an agent that struggles to get ahead in the competitive real estate world, or you can learn from the best and achieve success. Visit youhaveafutureinrealestate.com and sign up for the Jumpstart program. Get coaching tips and important tools that will help you jumpstart your real estate career. Sign up today and get 10% off your Jumpstart program when you use code word LEARN. Visit youhaveafutureinrealestate.com today and gain the real estate knowledge you need to succeed.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking about how to make your house more valuable, more comfortable for you. And I think that maybe you don't think about windows and doors sometimes, like, oh, the window's there. I mean, the door is there. Why do I need to change it? Well, if you think about aesthetically pleasing, if you're going to sell your house, you think about energy efficiency in your house, I think the windows and doors are hugely important. Also, especially in that upper bracket of houses. That's going to separate your house when you go to sell it versus someone else. And also, when you start talking about $1 million house, a $2 million house, if you think about it, your electricity bill is going to be $1,000, $2,000 a month. If you make sure those windows and doors are new and updated, it's going to save you significantly every single month when it comes to that electricity bill. For the first time ever, from Renewal by Andersen, Dan Brigman is here. Dan, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Justin. How are you?
I'm doing great. And my first ever guest on this show, and Shane, we talked about it pre-show over 5 years ago. Shane Croft is here.
That.
It's unbelievable. It flies by, huh?
I'm older than I thought.
And I know, me too. And I think a lot of people, let's be honest, from the real estate side and from the window and door side, don't necessarily think about the value of windows and doors and how important they are. Dan?
Yeah, I mean, wait a minute, Justin. You mean you don't get up every day and just inspect your windows?
Crazy, right?
No, they don't. They just... not until it comes time, something goes wrong, or they decide to sell their house, and then they start thinking about it.
And as they should. And it is look, but it's also energy efficiency.
Absolutely. Energy efficiency, let's go back to 2002 before, Energy Star and all these codes and things didn't matter. People got in a comfort zone. Whatever your energy bill was, it was like a car payment, right? You get used to it, you don't think about it, it is what it is, and life goes on. New technology out there can take that payment and cut it by 20, 30, in some cases 40%. It's crazy the innovation and the engineering that has come out in the products.
And unbelievable. And Shane, you've been, and I've followed your career, obviously this year's been amazing for you. And you really taught me Keens Point. When you first said Keens Point, I said, I don't know where that is, a great neighborhood in Windermere. And I want to show this property that you have for sale here, down in Keens Point, a neighborhood that now I know well. Also, imagine if this property had really old windows, horrible doors. You're not going to sell it, or certainly not for the same price.
No, I mean, you have energy efficiency issues, which we just mentioned. You have looks. You have what we refer to as the seals popped, and that's not really the right definition, but all of a sudden it looks like there's fog in between the windows. And you start seeing this. Builders in Florida in general have been notorious for using sort of cheap windows. That does not work on an $8 million plus home whatsoever.
I imagine.
Yeah.
And so this property here in Keens Point, Rosella Court, I believe. Tell me about this one.
Yeah, so this is actually my business partner's personal residence, and it sits actually on 3 acres in Keens Point, which no one believes even exists.
Was that the 18th hole?
He's on the Butler chain, and it's actually surrounded on 2 sides by water. It's not just one.
Wow.
So it sits out on a point. It's over 9,000 square feet. Just has every single thing you could imagine. It's probably the best lot in Windermere, probably.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. If you'd like to see this property, 407-205-0400. Shane will literally show it to you this weekend. He may or may not live close by. I'm not allowed to disclose that, but he'd be happy to show it to you for sure. But again, I just think that I don't know, you probably don't know, like, when is it time to look at my windows? When is it time to look at my doors? To look at them to be replaced? I don't know, when is it time?
It's a great question, because when you can see out your window and you don't have any water coming in, it's really not important in your mind. But we heard Shane talk about, hey, look, you walk up and you've got fogging in between the glass. So aesthetically, if you're looking at your window and you see it discoloring or you see that fog in between the glass, that's obvious. We know that. The other times are when you have water penetration that is going down in the space that under the window, the space between the drywall and the block construction, but that you're not going to see. You're going to have a design consultant, a professional come out. We have all types of engineering that we can look at that opening and tell when it's time for it to be replaced. But there's some other things that you can do. One example would be if you're looking at your window seal where it locks together, the sash right in the middle. If there's dust there, let's say you cleaned your house last week and it's dust on that seal. Guess what? Your seal's gone from the outside to the inside, because when your AC turns on, you have something in your house called a return. It sucks air. There's only 2 places that can suck air from: cracks in windows and cracks in doors. So what's happening, we have a lot of sand dust in Florida. Yeah. It sucks that dust through the seals, so your seals and sashes grab dust. The other thing is you begin to see little webs up in the corners of your windows. Ants and bugs don't come where there's no food, okay, and where there's no dust, because they can't build webs. And so all of these things mean that windows are beginning to fail. That's all the stuff on the inside. On the outside, you can begin to see pocketing in the corner. You can begin to see dirt pile up in the flat sashes in the base systems of the windows. Right. There's a number of things that you can look at, but you really need a professional to come out, because most of the time you can't see the worst things.
And it costs nothing to have you come out and say, what do we need to do? And what I found fascinating over the last couple of years is, and Shane, we talked about it before the show, is who would have ever thought when we sat here 2.5 years ago, this real estate market would have done what it has done over the last 2 years. Did you see this coming?
Absolutely not. Anyone that says they did, we talked about the first few months of COVID, we thought we're never going to sell a house ever again. Everyone was scared. No one knew what the situation was. And then all of a sudden, boom, just goes straight vertical. And we have this migration to Florida that's just crazy. We have all this money sloshing around in the economy from all these different stimulus packages. And real estate values, of course, just went parabolic.
Right.
Now, thankfully, we're cooling down, and that needs to happen. This for too long only ends one way.
Right.
And so we need to hit some sort of stable moment. I think that's where we are right now.
But is this one of those 2008 crashes, or is it just a cooling off period?
No, it's not a crash at all. There's several reasons. One is very conservative financing was used. It's actually not that easy to get a mortgage now. I mean,
That's
after
right.
08, they really changed the rules. So we have people that actually, quote, qualified, unbelievable numbers of people paying cash.
That's right.
And I've had clients buying 3 and 4 houses at a time for their family members paying cash for all of them. So those people aren't ever desperate to sell. And then we have sort of X factor is interest rates. And it's not about higher rates, it's more about lower rates, meaning if I have a mortgage today at 3%, why am I going to jump to one at 6 instead of just saying, let's see what happens. I'm going to sit on the sidelines. So that should keep inventory low still, which will create stability in pricing.
And then Dan, from your perspective over the last 2 years, you guys are probably nervous as well. Like, I don't know what's going to happen yet. It seems like you have skyrocketed as well. People have wanted new windows and doors.
You're absolutely right, Justin. It was almost unprecedented. I mean, the business grew like crazy. My personal opinion is this. People got nervous. They stayed home. They said, you know what? They started noticing things about their home that they've never seen before. And they said, you know what? I may never get to go outside again. This COVID thing may never go away. And so they began to start replacing windows. But more importantly, they started noticing the discomfort in their home. You asked earlier, how do you know when you replace a window? They're starting to notice areas that they spent more time in that they didn't before because they were always gone. This room's hot now. And so all types of things, but yeah, absolutely the business grew.
Renewal by Andersen, really a trustworthy company around the United States of America. I mean, this is a big business. Keep up the good work. I know you guys are crushing it here. And when it comes to windows and doors, I mean, who else would you call? I mean, I would call Dan, and the phone number's on the screen, 407-205-0400, and Shane Croft. I love this house. If I don't buy this weekend, which I probably won't, unless you're going to let me borrow your cash.
We're going to leave here and go see it.
He would love to show you this property or any property throughout Central Florida. Shane Croft, his wife Tracy, amazing people, amazing agents. 407-205-0400. Gentlemen, thank you. Great to see you as always. A final quick break. When we return, what else is on the market right now? And is it going up a little bit, down a little bit, staying the same? You Have Real Estate will continue. Does credit card debt have you spinning out of control? Call me today or visit youhavepower.com. I'm so excited to show you what is out there on the market right now throughout Central Florida. And we're going to hit a few different areas right now. And this is the question I'm getting all the time. It's, hey, Justin, is the market up? Is it down? Can I afford anything right now? And that's really, at the end of the day, why we do this show. But I also love our partnership with LPT because I get to meet amazing real estate agents. Mike, good to see you, man. How you been?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on.
And Matthew is here, too. Matthew, how are you, man?
Good. Thanks for having me.
So you live in New Smyrna Beach, but you do a lot of work over here as well. How does that market compare when you start talking about coastal living versus regular Central Florida?
It's a different lifestyle. Things tend to be a little more pricey in the beach areas. Right now, things are starting to slow down, though. So it's just more of a laid-back lifestyle. It's people really enjoy taking the time. A lot of pet-friendly. You see, pets in restaurants. It's a different kind of life.
And for both of you, really, and everyone at home is asking the same question. It's, this market has been insane for 2 years. Are we going to have a crash? Is it slowing down significantly? I mean, we're down in the trenches. What are you saying?
It's funny that when we talk about crashes, I ask people the question, historically in America, historically speaking, how many housing market crashes have you seen in the last 100 years? And they intertwine stock market crashes, which is a whole nother ordeal. So I tell them it's literally once every probably century.
Yeah.
So if you're waiting on a crash, you might be waiting for a while. So my thing is act now while you can if you're prepared.
If you're not prepared, make sure you save up, improve your credit score, and then buy, because at the end of the day, the longer you wait, you might risk paying more in mortgage for the same type of home.
When we read the national headlines about the real estate market, do you think that with all of the influx of people we have from the rest of the country coming to Florida, is Florida a little bit different possibly than the rest of the country?
Absolutely. My take is I just look at the numbers of New Yorkers, Californians that are coming, and majority of them are saying the same thing. Even my own personal deals, I've had a couple New Yorkers in the last few transactions, and they're all saying the same thing. And it's keeping, what they're doing is working remotely in New York, having that salary, and then living here for cheaper because the price is just different, cheaper here.
Feels like you're cheating in some way. I don't know. You're working in New York, but you live here. I don't know. It feels like cheating, but they're all doing it, and you're like, we'll take it for now. Yep. And I want to see what's going on right now in this market. Matthew, let me start with you. This is Lake Mary, the town I live in. I know this community. Tell me about Wild Date.
Wild Date Lane, condo, townhouse, been on the market fairly new, just within its second week. It's a 3-2, 1.5 bathroom. Great location. If you're one that wants to bicycle everywhere, you're pretty much set up for everything you need right there. Restaurants, shops, you got major Targets, Publix, everything nearby.
All right around, including Beth's Burger Bar. Beth, that's for you, sweetie. And then DeBerry, and I love talking about Southwest Volusia County, and we're going to with you and Mike in a second as well, because I still feel like there's that little pocket of Southwest Volusia that you can get a bang for your buck. You're going to take me to DeBerry.
I am. It's a great 3-2 pool home. Definitely bang.
Pool.
3-2
$399.
Yes.
Oh.
Updated fixtures in the house, split floor plan. It's a beautiful property. I have actually showed this to several clients along with the listing end of it, and it is just an amazing location.
Split floor plan, what does that mean? I mean, I know, of course, but what does it mean?
It means you're going to have one bedroom on one side of the house and usually the other two on the other. Makes it nice for privacy. This works well with the pool also and access to the pool area. And then you have plenty of room with no HOA and room for your toys. Matthew
will show you these houses literally right now. If you call the phone number on the screen, 407-205-0400. When I say he'll show it to you right now, I mean he'll literally walk out of the studio and show you these properties. Mike, also Southwest Volusia County, Deltona, bang for the buck.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my property address is 2801 Derby Drive in Deltona, Florida. Just came in the market in the last 4 days. What's interesting about this property is it has no HOA, because a lot of people come to me, hey, I don't want to pay HOA. I don't like the association. Well, you don't have that problem here.
That's right.
And your proximity-wise, you're close to the coast, and you have the city of Orlando, and it's around the developed areas with shopping centers, restaurants, major toll roads. So this is a hot property, and that area is starting to boom out there in Deltona.
And affordable as well at $370. I know interest rates have gone up a little bit, but at $370, it's still way less than you could rent for. If I were you, I would check out some of these properties. I'll connect you with Matthew and Mike right now. Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Keep up the good work. LPT Realty's in the house, always killing it out there, really changing real estate. But you two are doing a fantastic job as well. Thanks for being here. Hope to see you both soon. And most importantly, thank you for joining me here this weekend and every single weekend. Any questions whatsoever, 407-205-0400. I'm attorney Justin Feb, and I'll see you next week for more You Have Real Estate.
The proceeding was a paid advertisement. The views expressed were the sole responsibility of the advertiser.